Hey everybody, welcome to Wapiti Wednesday for August 13th. This is going to be the one and only for August, just because in 2 weeks I'm actually going to be traveling to camp. So to set up camp and get ready for the hunt. So the next one after this is going to be the first weekly Wapiti Rut Report for 2025. So we are there. Um, Did anybody find the hidden treasure that I put in the online Wapiti Wednesday live Q&A course when I uploaded the last recording? With the resounding silence, I'm saying no, that nobody found.
I didn't look at it.
That hurts. That I go through
Oh,
all that effort to upload recordings so that
I
you
know
can
I missed the
watch,
last the one
and you
before that,
just come
but
right back with, I didn't even look.
I know I got a good reason. So
You just use me for lives. Hear about the recordings. What's your good excuse?
I'll tell you afterwards.
Okay, so so basically, Greg, I found a place where I can upload the PDF versions of.
Okay, that I saw. I didn't know if that's what you were talking about. I saw. I tried to print.
You tried to print?
Yeah, I had trouble trying to print that report out.
Can you download it?
Well, I was going to try that, but I ran into other things I needed to get done.
Okay.
I haven't spent a lot of time on email.
I haven't gone through and uploaded them to all of them. So, but it looks like a good place to drop all that
Yeah.
stuff. So, okay. Speaking of that, oh, and here, since Jason's late, we'll just go.
This. What's this?
It's lip balm. Not really.
Are you trying to tell me something? Do my lips look chapped?
But
Ooh, okay. You like this one?
I'm quite impressed with Cluck. And this triple is 2 for 1 because you could play it normal or you can turn it upside down. So,
Hmm.
but okay, enough with that. That's why we're not here. We're not here to talk about Cluck. I do actually have another company that is sending me a bunch of calls that should be here that they want me to test out and give their feedback. I don't know what it is lately with all these turkey guys deciding they want to become elk call makers. So, all right. So, since this is the last one before we get into the weekly rut reports, I thought we would go into early season hunting and calling tactics. And now we're just going to mess with Kurt tonight. So, since Kurt just showed up, we're going to end the meeting and good luck, everybody, and we'll see you out on the mountain.
You guys played that same joke last time. I'm on to you.
I know. You were a part of the last time that we played that, but I figured this time we could play it on you. So,
Fair enough.
all right. Hey, did you get a haircut? Because you don't have quite the height of normal.
No, just not so crazy.
Oh, okay. Taming it down. So, all right. So, early season hunting and calling tactics. We're going to focus on mid-August to September first time frame. There actually are, Utah is one of those ones that gets going middle of August. Oregon actually gets going a little bit early too. So, thought I would cover that because really the first Wapiti Wednesday or Wapiti Rut Report for 2025 is going to be that first week of September. Anyways, so all right, early season is kind of a unique window because you have a lot of stuff going on. You have pre-rut behaviors, which is basically the bulls establishing their pecking order. If they haven't completely been, gotten hard-horned yet, they're still working on being hard-horned, and they're actually shifting patterns from being good roommates all summer long to, dude, you're pissing me off if I get away. So you also have low hunting pressure in many areas, and this can be the really good time of year to get a good herd bull. So, okay, what our purpose for tonight is: understand elk behavior during this time frame, learn how to use subtle, realistic calling to spark curiosity and interaction, and also build confidence in calling sequences for real world scenarios. So here we go. Okay, early season elk behavior. We always want to start with elk behavior so that we get a good idea of what's going on. Bachelor groups are still together. As you get towards the later part of this mid-August to early September, you will get bachelor groups breaking up, and you actually will get some bulls that already have cows gathered up. Now, we've talked about this before, where it seems like sometimes the younger bulls are really the rambunctious ones that really want to get out there and prove themselves and gather the herd. The older bulls have learned that, you know what, I don't really need to put forth all that effort. All I have to do is hang back, go down and whoop some little satellite bull's butt once, and I get 5 cows or 6 cows instead of me running around and expending all that energy to gather them up. So also in this time frame, bulls will start shadow the cow groups, but they're not really fully competing yet for the cows. That's more geared towards the middle of August. As this period gets towards the tail end, you're actually going to see that competition level start to ramp up a little bit. That last week of August into the first week of September is where that competition really gets going. Minimal bugling compared to peak rut at this time, just because their testosterone level really hasn't risen to the point where they're competitive. Again, that's going to change during this period. It's going to become more prevalent in the later portion of this period than it is kind of at the start or the middle. So cows are still in their feeding patterns. They're still usually down in the parks where they had the cows and calves. They're in their nursery groups. So that's where those bachelor groups are going to go down and start shadowing those cows. Calves are actually more vocal and curious. Okay, I want you guys to stick that in your back pocket for a moment. Calves are more vocal and curious. In preparation for this, I actually went back through some of my old journals, and I came across a calling sequence that as soon as I came across that, I'm like, you moron, why did you ever stop doing that? It is something I have not talked to you guys about. So you are going to learn a new calling sequence tonight too. So just what you needed. One more thing to think about and learn, right? Especially this close to season. So, all right, feeding versus bedding movements. So nice thing about this window and getting into September, you have a pretty predictable travel routes in mornings and evenings. Mornings, heading up mountain towards their bedding areas. Evenings, heading down to lower parks and feeding. That's not the case for every place. You will get some areas where elk will actually do the opposite. They will actually go down the mountain to bed and up to the ridge tops to feed. It just depends on what they have available within their area. So also too, midday loafing areas. So how many of you guys have heard me talk about midday madness? And that elk get up during the middle of the day to feed and water. It's not just feed and water, they actually loaf around. They will actually move around, wander around, and it's a great time to capitalize on that. Pressure factor. We've talked about this before, that in the early season, elk respond better to soft, natural sounds rather than aggressive calling this time of the year. So again, it's kind of funny going back and reading some of these old journals. So it's kind of cool. Get to relive some hunts that maybe have kind of dimmed a little bit in the memory, but also too, it's reliving the learning process. And in fact, there's some where have been reading and it's like, you're a moron, and then it's like, wait a minute, you still kind of do that same thing. All right, you're still a moron. So it's kind of fun to go relive that. So, all right, here we go. General early season calling strategy is to focus on non-threatening social sounds. Those social sounds include inviting sounds, because remember, we're in that transition of separate to coming together. Bulls going from being friends to competing, and bulls and cows being separate to coming together into herds and groups. So you have a lot of opportunity here for social sounds that are inviting and actually ask for certain things. So remember, less is more, and space between your calls matters. So I was actually doing a lesson last week, and when we were getting into herd talk, man, it was just me, and I'm like, oh, time, slow down. You want to give a dramatic pause, and the way I finally had to get him to go normal was like, imagine in your mind your slow motion, nya, nya, nya. If you do that slow motion in your mind, you get those natural pauses in between. The reason the natural pauses are important is when you're going fast, you can hear the minor pause right here, but 50 yards out, 100 yards out, those calls start, that little pause disappears. So overemphasize the pause when you're doing cow vocalizations and herd talk. So pay attention to tone and cadence rather than volume. We've kind of talked about how cows have evolved with the increase in predators, so they don't have the volume like they used to. Tone and cadence is far more important than volume. If you have to go maybe not so far before you set up and call again, that's okay. But sound like an elk living life, not an elk looking for a fight. Make sense? So we can kind of add to that too, because you guys have heard me too. Sound and call like an elk, not like a human. So, okay. First cow routine. You guys have already heard me talk about the inviting cow routine. It's basically mimicking a lost cow looking for the herd. It's an open collective group of sounds that basically invites vocal and physical responses. It's asking elk, where are you? Respond to me, answer me, come to me. So all kinds of different sounds that are asking for all those. So this is great to use early in the year when elk are nearby, but really not fully vocal yet. This could be effective throughout this whole window of mid-August to end of September, because the fact that it's focusing on a lost cow, which they get separated all the time, they get bumped all the time. So it could be very effective. I don't know how many people I've talked to in Utah, everybody is always like, yes, but the bulls don't bugle. Okay. I need a routine that I can get a response, the inviting cow routine. But I never hear a bugle. You didn't say you wanted a bugle. You said you wanted a response. Well, what do you mean? Have you ever had elk come into it? Well, yeah. Okay, ding-a-ling, that's a response. An elk coming to you is responding. So, and it could be too that, oh, maybe there's a bull 100 yards out that's raking, but you're not listening for the raking. You're listening for that high-pitched bugle. So in feeding areas, transition zones, and near bedding cover is basically where herd interaction is most likely. Because remember, we've talked about this. Transition zones are some of the toughest place to call in elk, because when they're in the transition zones, they are going from point A to point B. They have a very specific place in mind where they want to get to. The closer to that end of journey for them, the closer you are to that, the more chance you have of calling in an elk, calling in a bull, because they tend to slow down on the move the closer they get. They will mill around. They'll enjoy those loafing areas before they actually, bed down for the day. So you want to get as close to the bedding as you can. And this is where we've talked about, if you know your area, you know they're coming from low to high, you've got to be off the side to make sure that your thermals are not getting down to them. So, okay, there is a video that does have the inviting cow routine that breaks everything down, but we're just going to kind of go that, remember, you start with high-pitched lost cow mews, and then you can increase the intensity by adding in regathering mews, assembly mews, and demanding mews. And you can also start packing some of those sounds together where you do 3 or 4 lost mews, then a demanding mew, maybe 3 or 4 buzz mews and a demanding mew. There's not any sequence of this that says you're going to do 2 lost, 1 regathering, 3 assembly, 4 demanding. It's basically, the sounds that are in it, have fun with it, tell a story. In your head, remember the purpose of what picture are you painting here? What story are you telling? If you get that in your head and you play with it and have fun with it, it's going to make all the difference in your sequence. So, leave gaps of at least 20 to 40 seconds to simulate listening for a reply. If it's early season, you can stretch that up to an actual minute and a half. Occasionally turn your head while calling to create a searching effect. You can also use your hand to cup and throw sounds because you want to give the appearance of movement. Don't just be a statue. So keep the tone non-aggressive and approachable at first, and then escalate into that panic and urgency. This is ideal for pulling in cows, satellite bulls, or curious herd bulls early season. And yes, this can be very effective on early season herd bulls. So the 2 points: expect elk to approach slowly and cautiously. They are going to come in scanning with their eyes, scanning with their nose, and scanning with their ears. So, do you guys remember the order? See you first, hear you second, smell you third. Okay. Patience is also a key. That's not just with the inviting cow routine, that is within any sequence that you guys do early season. Okay. Any questions on the inviting cow routine? Can anybody guess what the new routine we're going to talk about is? God, you guys.
Curious calf.
Nice. Curious calf. Yes. Good job. Wow. You guys are on the ball tonight. So, all right. Curious calf routine. So you've heard me talk a little bit about the lost calf during midday, right? But this used to be my go-to routine opening weekend. I wouldn't do anything else except this routine opening weekend. And I don't know why I got away from it. Probably because it can be aggravating as all get out sometimes, but it is one of those routines that has a 70 to 80% success rate on call-ins. So the purpose of this is to trigger curiosity and the protective instincts in cows and bulls by sounding like a lost or wandering calf. Sounds familiar, right? The lost calf. This one's just going to be a little bit different though. Okay. When to use? Early morning, that first weekend, but this is highly, highly effective on midday setups when you are near bedding areas. And when I say near bedding areas, you're 100, 125 yards from a bedding area. So when cows have calves in the herd, well, pretty much every herd has calves in it. So, okay, the sequence breakdown is this high-pitched pleading calf is the main focus. Now, this is the way you really do this sequence, and this is how I use this a lot. Have you guys ever been working close to a herd and you can hear cows and calves?
Yeah.
Okay. So imagine if you started and the only thing you focused on was those calf sounds, and you started mimicking exactly what you're hearing from the calves. If the calf did one calf sound, you did one. If you heard two, you did two. If there was one that was nya, nya, high pitched, loud, followed by a shorter, softer one, and you match that. The cool thing about this is if you do that, and you only do it when you hear the calves. So you're not actually initiating this, you're actually focusing on the children. Yeah, you're gonna be a playground predator here. You're gonna be a creeper because you're gonna focus on the kids in the group here. So, but there is a reason behind it. The cool thing about this and the story that I was the day that I was reading on this, I was chuckling because I remember we had gotten so close to the herd so many times that morning. And I made the comment and I said, good Lord, we are getting so close to these cows and calves. One of us is going to get pissed on. And I remember we set up and I did this. And all of a sudden from the brush, just meh, 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 this little calf comes running in and stops right next to me. And I used to wear that leafy wear camo. She literally turned her head to the side and started trying to pick the leaves of that leafy wear off my jacket. And my hunting partner's 15 yards behind me, just, trying not to bust up and laughing because he's waiting for me to get pissed on. But I'm reading this and it was so fun because we actually had 7 different calves from the herd that actually just came busting in. Now, the key thing is once they start getting close, you shut up. Now it turns into a game of hide and seek. And now what happens is now all of a sudden these 6 or 7 come in, they start wandering back and forth looking for you. Well, what sound do you think they start throwing out? Lost calf.
Lost.
And they start getting adamant about it. They start ramping up vocalizations. Urgent. Where are you, my friend? I have heard you. We have been talking back and forth. I am here to play with you, and now you left. Why did you leave me? And because of that, it will get the attention of the herd. Now, what's interesting is you're sitting there just quiet. You're hoping that the thermals are right and the way those calves came in, that they're just not going to bust you. They will wander around, especially if there's a group of them, because they will feed off each other and they will stay there for a while. These guys stayed there for about 5 minutes looking for me. And then they started wandering off this way. Well, I heard something else, and all of a sudden, here comes a 5x5. And he actually walked into 3.5 yards from me. So I had a really hard time trying to figure out which pin to use at broadside at 3.5 yards. So I just stuck all of them on there. It was a good shot and a complete pass through. So, but there's other times that I've done this that the cows will come in first, but it always seems like the cows will come in and they will hear the calves and the cows will peel and go and follow the calves or try to get the calves back. So it's 50-50 whether a bull comes in first or whether the cow comes in first. But it's really cool because you get to see so much calf interaction and elk interaction with each other. And then if they just wander off a little bit when the cows come in, then you get to see that reunion and that connection. But it is a fun sequence. And the key thing on this is you've got to stay patient because you are creating curiosity in these calves, and that curiosity it takes a little bit of time to get them triggered, to get them curious to oh, okay, I want to go over and see this friend. And that's where, if you think about when we were all growing up, when we were in elementary school, we were out on the playground. Remember that one kid that would sit there and just repeat exactly what you said. the way you said it, and just the annoying factor. That's it's a little opposite in the calves because it creates the curiosity of, oh, there's a new friend. There's somebody else that is only talking to me, not talking to the moms, not talking to the dads, just talking to me. But then if there's a group of them, then they're like, they're not talking to you, they're talking to me. No, they're talking to me. And then that's where you actually have seen them come in single file or have seen them coming in from different directions trotting to see who's going to get there first. So the hard part is their time, depending on the brush and the leaves and the foliage that's on the ground, those damn calves can sound a hell of a lot bigger than what they actually are, and it'll get your heart rate kind of going just a wee bit. But it's fun. Now, the last thing I put that can be deadly when paired with subtle cow calls in the background, simulate a family group. Obviously, this is after the cows have come in and moved off a little bit. And generally on this one is if they are 40 yards or less to you, do not make a sound. If they move past 40, 50 yards, even 50, 60, to get some separation, then you can make the noise to draw that bull's attention back into you. But remember, they are very, very good at pinpointing where that sound is coming from. So, and yes, I will get a video put together for the curious calf routine. What do you guys think about that? Curious? Sounds interesting. Man, I want to try that.
Cool. I think it's cool.
Sounds good.
Yeah, Jim, that might actually work pretty well on your guys' cow hunts.
Yeah, no.
So,
How does this
That's
work
what I was thinking.
season?
what's that, Jason?
How does it work later in the season?
Midday time, it's phenomenal.
But
So-
I mean later in September.
No, that's what I mean.
Oh, okay. Bill.
Later in September, middle of the day, midday madness, absolutely.
Okay.
You know what? It's one of those things too that if you're sitting there on a hunt and you've tried the breeding sequence and you're just not getting anything, and you're hearing cows and calves, try it.
Okay. Do you have to be hearing cows and calves, or is it just a
It's
good bust out?
it's most effective if you're hearing, or if you know that you are within 100 yards, without a doubt.
Okay.
You're going to initiate it just with the calf sound, but then once you start getting responses, then you are going to go fully into the mimic mode.
Okay.
Okay. Combining sequences and reading the situation. So this is a typo. So that should say 50 to 55 minutes. Not only are you switching routines, but you're also switching locations. So now, if you do actually see out, pay attention to their body language. Ears forward and head high usually means curiosity. Nervous movements basically will be a result from too aggressive or too frequent calling. You can tell the nervous movements because the nose will be more postured up in the air. That is typically a defensive posture, an on guard posture. So if ears are forward and the head is just held high, but the nose is down, that's basically getting that elevation and looking. If the nose is tilted up, that is a nervous movement. You will also see stomping on the ground with the nervous. So, okay. Any questions? Kurt, you've got this serious pondering look. What's going through your head, man?
I'm just excited and I want to be able to do it. That's all.
Well, then go do it.
Okay.
Season's coming. I know. Liz and I just now started doing our Broadhead walk back tune. I am so far behind. And then Sunday night we were sitting there and I looked at her and I said, "Babe, I said, there's one thing that we really, really need to do before we go up to camp. And she goes, what? And I go, we need to go pick up our tags. I've been so stinking busy. We haven't even gotten our tags yet. So, and I'm like, this is terrible. So it's 2 weeks away. It's all right. We'll be ready. So, so the curious calf. I mean, Jason, you can do it all times of the year. So, and in actuality, thinking about this, with the popularity of elk hunting in high pressured areas, and we've talked about how low audible sounds have really been a lot more effective lately. I'm kind of wondering if this curious calf routine, God, if that thing might be highly, highly effective during the peak rut when you have everybody else out there running around cow calling and bugling. It's setting yourself apart from everybody else.
Yeah, it's definitely different than everybody.
And
Could
I
you
mean, you're
give us the
mimicking, you're
sound?
mimicking, you're mimicking real elk.
Could you give us the sound of the curious calf?
So it's really, it's going to, let me do this real quick. Boom. Two, 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 two.
So it kind of reminds me of a situation I was in last year where I had a bull coming in for my buddy. And it's funny you say that because it was the calf that was coming in and that gave me the quick, when I had him about 10 yards, gave me a quick, come here. Then the bull kind of did a little whine and then they just took off. They winded
Yeah.
us.
But the calf is the one that brought him in.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see.
I was able to print. That did work.
You were. Okay, good. Since there's so many variations in this that can be done on the sounds, I'm looking for, here we go.
We're here for our convertible.
How about an SUV?
Sorry, I had to get through the commercial. Okay. All right. Everybody see okay? Now the only question is this is pretty soft, so you might have to turn up. Did you guys hear that?
Yes.
So so that's a prime example. We heard those three. We're just going to match that. See, and that's where I was talking about. You hear that high pitched volume followed by a lower volumed one. Okay, hear that intensity increasing? That's what you're going to find when they come in and you've gone quiet and they start looking for you. They're going to raise that intensity because they're demanding. They're getting more urgent about, you need to tell me where you are. Now, this is one. If this was me in the scenario and I was doing this, because there is so much vegetation, I would still go ahead and mimic back. I'm not going to stop mimicking until I can see them. Okay? Because calves aren't as good at pinpointing the sounds as cows and bulls are. So if you're in this scenario where you have all this vegetation in between, keep mimicking, keep responding, but keep really peering through there and look for legs, ears, flashes of tan, some sign that you can see them, then go quiet. Little calf doing a regathering mew? Seriously? Okay.
That's a good little segment.
So, real cow elk sounds, Jairus Nielsen. So, if you want to search, if you want to find that, that'll be a good little video to just tune your ears to. But honestly, each encounter out there with the calves are going to be different. It's going to be different sounds. It's going to be different structures. This is where practicing your high to low drill really comes into advantage. So, okay. Early season tactics. Now we're even more excited, right?
It was good.
Big time.
I know. We've got fires popping up all over Idaho. Bryce actually sent me a text today, and he basically said if we get shut out from a fire again this year, he's done hunting because he doesn't think he can take the continuous heartbreak anymore.
Yeah, we got fires everywhere here too.
And yeah, I know. I told him to take the tutu off and put his man britches back on.
We don't have rain for nothing.
We've had a little bit, but not much.
Right up there today. Know
So,
that.
I mean, we have really had a mild fire year. It's been, thankfully, but things are kind of starting to ramp up. So, all right. So let's see. Since we won't do the 27th, our next one will be Wednesday the 3rd, and that will be the first weekly rut report for 2025. And we will go on the 3rd, the 10th, the 17th. 24th is right in the middle of our long hunt, but who knows? Who knows how this season's gonna come about? And then October 1st also. So since we have a little bit of a gap, anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns between now and the start of your season?
Practice, practice, practice.
Practice, practice, practice. And if you're kind of curious, check out those cluck calls. So the domed ones do come in a 3-pack. And then you have that triple read that is by
Have you
itself.
set up an ECA discount then with them yet?
You know what? I actually just bought those I bought them and brought them in just to try them. I haven't even talked to the guys. I haven't even done any videos yet, but I am impressed. So
Good.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask a question about that. I have a hunch I don't want to sound like the biggest, baddest bull, and that's how a lot of these manufacturers advertise. You kind of want to come in right a little lower, so it sounds like you're an elk that they can whoop my butt. Um, is that true? And whether that's true or not, like of the ones you're testing right now, what do you like the most?
So basically, it's yeah. You want to match their intensity level, or just below. And really, any read out there is just for the high note. Really, the way that you add the intensity into it is by how quick you get to the high note, how short it is, how much of your vocal inflection do you put on the end of it. So also too, you can always take the tube and put your hand over the end of it. So, um, this year gonna be doing the Hunt Ribbon, the Stratum and the Black Ice, the Native by Carlton 450s, and then these Clucks. And Jason, I was telling these guys, this is a triple that has the cut, a natural middle, and then a black bottom. But the cool thing about it, so if you run it normal, but then you can actually take it, turn it upside down, since it's conventional. And it gives a completely different tonal and volume aspect of it. So you almost get two calls in one. So I am actually pretty impressed with their domed reeds. It's weird too. It's not quite the wide frame, but it's not as small as the medium frame. It's like, okay, these people found a frame that is in between the 7/8 and the medium frame, and it actually, even on the domed, fits really nice. So
Cool.
Which one are those? They've, they've got a few here.
on the elk calls,
Yeah,
well,
the drift.
they have the 3-pack.
Yeah. Oh, is that what you got?
Yeah,
Did you buy them online or did you find them local?
I bought them on their website.
Okay.
Well, I think you've got one of the ones that is not in the 3-pack. It's like the mountain.
Right. So the 3-pack is the 3 domed reeds. And then I also added the Mountain King.
That's right.
So if you want to hear, so okay, on the herd, the Mew and Mama, which is natural,
Drifter.
pretty responsive call, doesn't take much air pressure. I like the tonal quality of the cow sounds. It has some good nasaliness on the end of it. So next up is the Drifter, which is the red latex. A little bit heavier latex. If you can hear, already gives a little deeper, older cow sound to it. Bugling, it does take more tongue pressure, more air pressure. But to me, it seems like it has good backbone that you can actually, if you get into aggressive style calling, that you can get there. And it'll hold up to it. Finally is the Bull, which is a pretty thick latex that has a pretty decent stretch on it. That one hits that ear ringing note really well. Thicker latex, definitely a lot more pressure on it. So in that herd, you're going to have light, medium, and heavy type pressures on it. So, but good variations. I think out of all of them, the Mountain King was the one that really grabbed my attention first. But now that I play with the herd more, they're kind of getting better and better. So I'm definitely going to use them on the mountainside.
Good. They do offer a 10% on your first order if you sign up for a newsletter.
I did not take advantage of that.
Yeah, it's like $1 or $2.
Yeah,
I don't sign up for newsletters. Newsletters are dumb. By the way,
Everybody,
I signed up for the ECA newsletter. Oh,
everybody chip in an extra 50 cents for Michael.
No, but I will. I will actually, since I'm actually impressed with them, I will actually try to get some review videos done, of those, and then reach out and maybe talk to the guys, see if they're willing to offer a little ECA member discount. So, but since it's so short to season, just go to Cluck and order them anyways.
Yeah, I just placed an order, so I'll give them a try.
See, in the detail section or note section, you could have put ECA sent me.
Oh, I haven't finalized it yet. so I
Oh,
can-
okay, yeah. Do
I
the
did-
shameless plug. So,
Yes.
good.
okay. Oh, yeah. The other reads that I'll be playing with this year too are the Samson and the Kahuna from Mile High Note Game Calls. Yes, Mile High Note Game Calls finally came out with a domed reed.
I
So,
bought those at the expo, so I have one of those actually.
You like
did
them?
you get the Samson or the Kahuna?
Whatever
Red-
one that
Red or white?
was really colorful, red.
Okay, that's the Kahuna. So,
Okay.
when Tom first sent them over to me, the Kahuna was kind of my favorite. But I did a sound profile on these 2 weeks ago, and out in the mountains, holy crap, that Samson sounded really, really good.
It took me a hard minute to kind of break it in, but I'm okay.
The thing that I found on these is these work better if you run them a little farther back.
Yeah.
So,
Do you have troubles with the Bo Brooks calls at all?
no,
Tried those? You don't?
no. Well, his domed reeds I do. I don't like his domed reeds because they're built on a narrower frame. They don't work for me. His normal conventional, the black ice and the stratum, I love.
Okay.
So the thing with bows is bows are all built for light tongue pressure, light air pressure. So it's really easy to overblow his calls,
They're challenging. Yes.
especially if you're a heavy tongue user. And one way to definitely know if you're a heavy tongue user, if you use Tom's Mile High Note and you run notes fine, but if you do that same thing on bows and they just stall out and go to nothing, you're a heavy tongue user. And in fact, with bows, you almost have to get in your head of, oops, I kind of want to run this a little farther forward in my mouth. I want to pull my tongue back so I'm more on the tip of my tongue, so I'm not putting as much pressure on the reed. Maybe drive it with air instead of tongue, especially in the bugles.
I'll play around with them.
Oh, they can be frustrating as shit.
I really wanted to like them because they're not cheap.
did did you get the domed ones or the conventional?
I bought the 3-pack, so whatever that 3-pack was, that was a couple of years ago.
Okay. I know he just came out with a new set of domed reeds. His first set of domed reeds, not a fan at all. Didn't like them. So I tried and tried and tried and tried, and I ended up just throwing them in the garbage. So he did come out with a new set of domed reeds last year that are better, but again, they're on a narrower frame, and I have a wider palette that I just like wider frames. So, but with that being said, I think that the Cluck frames, I think, are a good happy medium that I think are going to fit a lot of people that they're actually really going to like. The other thing that's kind of interesting too is Cluck actually cuts their tape a little bit smaller than what everybody else does. So you have less tape in your mouth. And it could be that's why I'm kind of impressed with them, because it's different than what everybody else out there is doing. And so you actually have a lot of read area, both on the width and on the depth. You've got a lot of area to play with. You don't have to be that critical. So what else? You guys are going to let me off the hook 10 minutes early. That's because Larry and Sandy weren't here. You know what? I got a bone to pick with Sandy. So, because his box of calls showed up today at his house, and notice he's not in here tonight.
He's out using his call.
He shows up all the other times to bust my chops about making sure that I send this box. And, oh, nope, he's just going to have to go shopping.
And he gets it, he doesn't say, "You're not here."
I even threw in something extra in the box to surprise him.
So Michael,
Yeah.
can I show the best the winner of the elk photo of the year?
Yes. Is it the one you sent me?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I just
Share
can't
it.
pull it up. This is great. He's gonna love this. He's gonna find it. Talk amongst yourselves till I do. I got a lot of photos in here.
Yeah, and you should be
Sure.
able to share. So
Here we go. I'm gonna show it on my phone. Isn't that awesome?
Wow.
The happiest elk ever.
that's
Yeah.
that's how my son was this morning for first day back to school.
Mm. Really?
He wasn't last night,
Oh,
but this morning he was. So yeah, no, when you sent that to me, and I'm like, okay, I've had elk smile, I've had them flare their nostrils, but I've never had something like that. That's awesome. So. All right, guys. Well, then we are going to wrap it up. As always, keep calling, keep practicing. More importantly, though, have fun while you're doing it. And we will see you guys in actually 3 weeks for the first week of September for the first rut report of 2025. If you guys are heading out before then, best of luck. Be safe. Remember, take time to pause and enjoy the journey. It's more than just about filling tags. So have a great night, everybody.
Good luck, guys.
man.